Everyone. Hello. Hi, everyone. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, depending on where you are in the world, in our world. Um, oh, in this age of brilliance, tonight is part 26. It's the portal of sovereignty, the return to the throne with our beloved Mynoo Maryel. Her transmission tonight is not a talk, it's a portal opening. In Mynoo's transmission, we will reclaim our inner authority, activate the 12 signs of sovereignty, identify and dissolve what is stealing your power, restore stillness, coherence, and source led clarity. Step out of autopilot and into self mastery, because in the age of brilliance, sovereignty is the new power. Say yes, reclaim your throne. I'm really excited about this. I see like North Stars everywhere for each of us. Thank you, Mynoo, for sharing this transmission with us. On to you.
You're welcome, Sarah. Yeah, it's a very special one. We always, with the host, we always do like a short process of envisioning the session. And it was quite special, this particular envisioning. So, Sarah, you're the representative of everyone here as well as others. So, any questions that arise, just feel free to ask. Okay. Well, sovereignty by itself is a pretty huge thing, and sovereignty as a portal was like seriously amazing. Awesome and amazing. So even as we all begin this session, you take a breath. And it's not just a nice, comfortable breath. It'll be a comfortable, but let's call it like a returning breath. Because today we are not just learning about sovereignty, we are actually opening a portal. And we are doing it together. And when a portal opens, reality reorganizes around what becomes available as the portal opens. And today we are talking about the portal of sovereignty. This is the age of brilliance, which means it's no longer enough to be connected to the talents we have. It's no longer enough to just simply be good. It's no longer enough to be wise. In the age of brilliance, your frequency is your authority. Your nervous system is the foundation of your leadership. Your inner world is your government. And that's why we are opening the portal today of sovereignty. This is not sovereignty as a concept. This is sovereignty as a seat, a throne, a decision, a return. Because the truth is that many of us have been living intelligent lives. While our inner throne is occupied by fear, false expectations appearing real. Our inner throne is occupied by pressure, by someone else's expectations, by old conditioning, by emotional weather that is not even theirs. So I'm here to say this with love and with absolute clarity that sovereignty is when you stop outsourcing your power and you begin operating from source. Sovereignty is when you stop outsourcing your power and you begin operating from source. The source really is that speck of the Creator Himself that is there in each one of us. The Creator does not outsource anything. The Creator creates, as can we, and we do from time to time. When you you reconnect your sovereignty, you just immediately simply stop outsourcing your power. So let's begin. So let's begin with closing your eyes. Just close your eyes for a moment. And if that feels safe, place one hand on your heart and one hand on your solar plexus. And just quietly say to yourself, I return to myself. I come home to me. I reclaim my throne. I choose inner authority. Take a stillness breath. Breathe in and a long breath out. Breathe in, long breath out. Breathe in, long breath out. Relax your hands and open your eyes. So, what is sovereignty? Sovereignty means complete self-authority, the ability to stand in your own power, make your own choices, and govern your inner and outer life without being controlled by fear, pressure, other people's expectations, your own expectations, even, or past patterns. So, in simple and in powerful terms, sovereignty equals I am the ruler of my inner world. I am the ruler of my inner world. Not circumstances, not emotions, not other people's opinions, not my past, not my moods, not my triggers, not the noise of the world. Sovereignty is the freedom to choose your state, your response, your path, your standards, your vibrations, your identity. What does it include? Sovereignty includes emotional sovereignty. You feel your feelings without being ruled by them. It includes mental sovereignty, clarity of thought, not noise, but thoughts as intelligence. Energetic sovereignty, no leakage, no entanglement, and a strong inner field. soul sovereignty, acting from truth, intuition, and source instead of autopilot. Leadership sovereignty, making decisions from alignment and not pressure. So now, just listen up closely. Sovereignty is not dominance. It is not control. It is not aggression. It is not a hard wall. Sovereignty simply is self possession. It is when you are so anchored in your truth that you don't need to prove, you don't need to push, you don't need to perform. You simply are. And that being becomes a gravitational field. This is why sovereignty is a portal in the age of brilliance. In the age of brilliance, sovereignty is not optional. It is a core superpower because stillness requires sovereignty. If your inner throne is occupied by everyone else's emotions, or it's occupied by the weather outside, or the political environment outside, or circumstances that you're surrounded with, if your inner throne is occupied by all of that, you cannot access stillness. So, stillness requires sovereignty, coherence requires sovereignty. If your mind is noisy, your nervous system becomes dysregulated, and your energy leakage is rampant. Coherence cannot stabilize. Miracles, they arrive through sovereignty because miracles respond to a clean signal, a clear field, a self-led frequency. Synchronicity also responds to sovereignty. When you are sovereign, your choices are aligned. And aligned choices create aligned timelines. Brilliance becomes embodied only in sovereignty. Without sovereignty, brilliance becomes a performance. With sovereignty, brilliance becomes presence. So, this portal that we are opening today is not self help, it is actually a frequency upgrade. Sovereignty is the moment you stop living as a reaction and you start living as a creator. With that understanding, now I'm going to give you the 12 signs of sovereignty so that you can recognize when your throne is occupied by you. And you will also learn how to restore each sign and the impact it has. So the first sign is your emotional state. When you are connected to your sovereignty, your emotional state is chosen. It's not inherited. And what that looks like is you stop absorbing the mood of the room. You sense it, you're empathetic to it, but you don't absorb it. So if you feel disconnected by that, and you walk into a space and you feel as if you're actually absorbing the energy of the space, it's time to restore. And how do you restore it? That's sovereign breath times 3. I return to myself, exhale. All of me is here, exhale. That breath in and a deep, long exhale. Just 3 times. You can name the emotion without the story. This is sadness. This is irritation. This is jealousy. Whatever it is, simply name it without doing anything about correcting it or anything like that. Just name it. Choose your state intentionally. I choose calm. I choose grace. This simple naming the emotion and intentionally choosing your state, having done that sovereign breath times 3, the impact of all of that is you feel like you got your spine back, you are anchored, grounded, you become unshakable. Your nervous system becomes a sanctuary. Sign 2. You can say yes and no without guilt or justification. We are not used to doing that. And yet, when you are sitting on your throne and you've reconnected and you're owning your sovereignty, yes and no, you won't even know what justification to give for any of those. Because you don't go and start overthinking about it yourself either. I remember having this experience, and maybe I don't know if some of you might be there. I run a business collective, as you know, and once a year we have an immersion of all of the founders in the business collective. So we had this immersion in Rishikesh, in India, and we had our founders from different parts of the world had come there. And at night I would do one of my spiritual journeys. And this was the first time that my Indian founders were going to experience the spiritual side of me. They'd only ever seen the business side. The ones from California and London had seen my spiritual side, um, but the Indians had not. So, and I was going to connect each one to the ascended master that was going to be with them for the duration of the immersion. So those that knew the spiritual work that I do showed up. They were there on time, and we began, and it was a beautiful, beautiful yoga studio that was set up for this journey purpose. So I begin and I start talking about the energies that are present and stuff, and then a bunch of about 3 or 4 of the Indian founders came in. They walked in late, and I was like in a zone. I had my eyes closed and I was just transmitting. And when I finished that sequence of transmissions, one of the Indian founders said to me, because they could not get their head around what is Mynoo doing. They had only ever seen me as a business mentor, and I had my eyes closed, and the energy was very powerful. So they probably couldn't get their head around what was happening, what was going on. So he says, Minuji, can you just say that again? And I said no. And I moved on to the next one. and that they never ever heard me speak like that. I mean, I think I just basically just said no, nothing. I didn't package it into anything. And I just said no and moved on. And I realized, going back, looking back at that time, that was a sovereign no. Nobody said anything. He was just shocked, and everybody was a little bit taken aback, only because they never ever heard me be so emphatic and not be supportive, and just move on. Now, they saw the value of what happened, and they also realized that everybody was in a zone. So, repeating, this was not a classroom. People were in the middle of a journey. And on account of one person, the journey was not going to be interrupted. So they joined in. So I recognized, and I didn't feel anything in my body other than just that complete presence of the frequency of who I was being, which is human and love. So, how do you restore this sign if you feel you're not able to express the yes or a no, or if you feel you're being affected by guilt, or you find yourself having to run through justification even before you've actually given your answer? How do you restore it? Restore this sign. Ask yourself, if I say yes, do I respect myself more or less? And just remember that we're going to use in the age of brilliance, this amazing power tool of acknowledgement is the one that you'll be working with. Simply by answering this question, you're now not that attached to whether you say a yes or a no. And if you have to practice something, you can practice this one clean sentence. No, that does not work for me. And by the way, I'm saying this, and I can say it very easily. And yet, when I ask people to do this, and I know for myself, if I had asked myself to do this, I wouldn't have been able to just say this clean sentence. No, that does not work for me. Now, the impact it will have on your body, your energy immediately stops leaking. Your self respect becomes consistent. And you just keep taking the next step next. And there's a beautiful lightness of being. In the age of brilliance, any time you spend on justification or defense of yourself, you're actually not in your brilliance. It will feel yucky in your body. Being gloaty and me Tarzan type beating your chest up way of expressing yourself will also feel yucky in your body. I find if you are ever stuck, the quick click of a finger, blink of an eye, unstuck access you have is with this sovereign breath. I also call it the stillness breath. Breathe in and a long breath out. Sarah, I'm just checking in if there's anything showing up for you or for anyone else that requires to be brought up at this stage.
No, thank you. Not at this time. Just the clarity is brilliant. Thank you.
Okay. The third sign is your inner world stays steady, even when the outer world is turbulent. Here I am doing this session with you, all of you. Ansu is here from Dubai as well. And I've got my curtains open and it is pitch dark outside. Pitch dark outside. There's always traffic. I live in downtown Dubai. There's always traffic and cars outside. So you're always seeing, you're hearing this little hum that is there. I look out of the window and there's like a river flowing on the roads. We've had a good chunk of rain yesterday. Like literally, it is like a river with a current that is flowing down there. It is quite turbulent outside. And here we are having this very powerful, centered conversation. I'll leave tomorrow, for our Christmas winter break. And I had left a number of things for today because Friday is the day when I don't have many preset appointments. I do have a very important workshop that we have scheduled for today, which ideally I would love to have done it before I left for the winter break. I had made a promise to my publishers that today I would be releasing my next book for developmental edit, Anxiety to Awesomeness. So I was up till nearly 1 o'clock in the morning to get that book done. I'm sharing all of this because I feel this sovereignty in me is so, I'm so connected to that. There's complete steadiness within me, despite all of this that is going on. And there are few things that I want to take with me when I go away. And I have absolutely no idea that this is even feasible or possible. No idea if any of the malls will even be open. Because last time there was flooding like this, the Dubai Mall was flooded inside. And like all I get to, so the amazing thing is when you are in this, when you've reclaimed your sovereignty and you're standing in that space, you really become such an acute observer of all that is going on that at a mind level, your mind is so still. Because your observation is so acute, your mind owns this space of safety. Every breath you take, you are in a state of awesomeness. And a quality of awesomeness is it simply births more awesomeness. So your inner world remains steady. The outer world can be turbulent. Now, if that is not the case and you're being sucked into the turbulence of the outer world, I mean, like literally, my family lives across the highway from where I am. You know, I could be sitting here saying, "Hey guys, the whole place has got flooded," um, and I'll be like spinning imaginary stuff about how am I going to walk across. Just walking across that 7-minute walk feels like it'll probably be a half an hour walk if I was to avoid these patches of floods. It's not consistent. It's not as if the entire road is flooded, but it just so happens that outside my building, big chunks of it are seriously flooded. Now, I could be spinning with those imaginary thoughts which aren't even real. Here I am, feeling whole and complete, absolutely steady, sitting on my throne, sharing this beautiful body of work that the divine is bringing through. I'm not superhuman. If I can do it, anybody can. Because each of you, you are beyond human as much as I am. Because ultimately, we are the creator. So if you're not feeling steady in your inner world, how do you restore it? Anchor. Now, here's the piece about sovereignty. You will see it when I talk about how do you restore it. a lot of the restoration is linked to your physical body. Okay? Great respect, my respect for this beautiful physical body as a vessel of fulfillment of the divine plan is growing literally by every breath I take. How do you restore this, the steadiness in your inner world? You anchor your body, feel your feet, soften your jaw, slow your breath, and declare chaos around me doesn't become chaos within me. That's it. Declare. The impact, you become the still point that stabilizes everyone else. Let's look at the fourth sign. You stop seeking approval and you seek alignment instead. Seeking approval is where entitlement, validation, all that kind of stuff comes in. When you're in the space and seeking alignment instead, you know and respect your sovereign presence. And you also know and respect the sovereignty of everyone around you. So you're able to stand in your presence and honor and recognize others in theirs, giving them the space to express where they are at. And being very clear about what it is that you are seeking and being open to accept whatever the response may be. So how do you restore it if you're not feeling it? Do an alignment scan. Is what I'm about to embark on, is this true for me? Is this aligned for me? And as you're even engaging with that, do you feel love or do you feel fear? Withdraw, with conscious awareness, withdraw your energy from opinions. Literally, return to sender with love. My energy is mine. Now, the impact of this, it is actually simpler than you realize. Now, what will be complex is if people are used to you having an opinion and expressing your opinion, their perception of you in how they expect you to behave may be the one that you may get drawn to justifying. You don't have to. Many of you have heard me say, it doesn't matter what others feel about what you're up to. They are totally free to feel that. But it's their opinion. It only becomes yours when you allow yourself to receive it. This thing, return to sender with love, my energy is mine, is a very powerful statement. The impact is you stop shrinking and your life accelerates with integrity. When I say your life accelerates with integrity, you find yourself actually living your life with conscious awareness, having that lightness of being, taking that next step next. The fifth sign is that you operate from clarity. rather than pressure. If you are experiencing pressure, don't take any action. Feel in your body where you're experiencing that pressure. Do the stillness breath. It is also your sovereign breath. Direct that breath out from that part of the body which is experiencing pressure. Breathe in and a long breath out. And as you do this, directing that breath into that part of your body where you're experiencing pressure, it starts to dissolve. How do you restore this sign in case it's lost? Just ask yourself, what is the clean next step for me? It won't be any complex, convoluted answer. It literally will be a very simple next step. Take that. Ask, what is the clean next step after this? Take that. If you have that feeling of urgency within you, this is the time you say to yourself, no, I'm not ready to decide anything yet. Breathe into yourself, that sovereign breath. Let that sense of urgency dissolve. Decide from alignment. The impact of this, it's a very, very powerful sign and totally well worth taking the effort to restore it. It does not take long because the impact is very powerful. The impact is decision making becomes light, clean, and fast. And you feel it. And throughout, you have that steady presence and you experience a lightness of being. The sixth sign is you feel whole, not waiting for someone or something to complete you. How do you restore it if you're not feeling whole? This is literally left hand on your heart, right hand on top of it. And make a declaration. I belong to myself. I belong to myself. And take one nourishing act daily that proves self-loyalty. Whatever that nourishing act may be. When I learned about this, I created a self-loyalty time segment. Initially, it was 5 minutes because I didn't know what I was going to do in it. I mean, now I would say, it is like 2.5 hours for me because in the morning when I have my practice, I have my practice. That is being loyal to myself. Like today, it's an early morning start. So part of my 2.5 hours is having 1 hour with all of us together. I could become very attached to, oh God, this means I won't be able to do this and that and whatever. So for me, it is like a nourishing act of that demonstrate, that proves self-loyalty. This is deeply nourishing, what we are doing right now. And by the way, what we're doing right now, I know and I sense it. Each one of you is present. For me, it is early in the morning. For many of you, it's like towards the end of the day, and it could be a busy time, mentally at least. But you are all in a state of complete stillness. You're experiencing that's inner steadiness. And that's that reconnection to your own sovereignty. You may not do it every day. You do it once a week, whatever it might be. But have, ideally, to restore this particular sign, you will choose one nourishing act that proves self-loyalty, whatever that act may be. The impact is huge. You stop chasing and you start attracting. And you move forward literally in leaps and bounds. Checking in, Sarah, is there anything showing up for you, or shall I continue?
Oh, please continue. I'm listening attentively along with everyone. Thank you.
Okay, the seventh sign is you no longer abandon yourself to keep the peace. There are many times that we've all done this. So how do you restore it? It's like, you're engaged in what I call as an embodied check-in. What do I need right now? What do I need right now? So this is just a check-in, an embodied check-in. What do I need right now? A sip of water is what my response is. Whatever might be the response, act on it. And you can get up in the morning and, and promise, I will not abandon myself today. The beauty about these portals that I've been going through, and the beauty about the sovereignty portal is everything that I'm saying, you can be getting on with whatever it is that you get on with first thing in the morning, and you can still make this promise. I will not abandon myself today. The impact is your truth becomes safe to live in. And you start getting accustomed to being in that state of yumminess, having that feel of yumminess be your resident state in your body. This is a very important sentence. Your truth becomes safe to live in. This is the biggest issue. It's not safe to be in my truth. So we accommodate, adjust, and show up differently to who we really are. The eighth sign is you hold your energy with dignity. You hold your energy with dignity. Dignity is honoring of your worthiness. You hold your energy honoring your worthiness. And if for any reason you are disconnected from your worthiness, it is a massive energy leak. How do you restore it? Visualize. Just visualize your field sealing in golden light. Like golden light, just visualize it as if it's coming in and it is sealing up all these energy leak spots or fractures. Another way of restoring it is stop over explaining. Stop over giving. How do you know that it is over explaining or over giving? It's beautiful to give. It feels truly yummy in your body. And at a particular point, a yuckiness will come in. You've now entered the realm of overgiving. Stop. Stop. And that stop may be changing your state. If you're sitting down, stand up. Excuse yourself without giving any justification. I just need a moment to myself. That's it. Over explaining, it'll literally do your head in. It'll start, like your head will start hurting. That's how you know you're engaging in it. The impact of this sign, when you hold your energy with dignity, honoring your worthiness, is your presence. Your presence is infused with your inner authority. There is gravitas in your presence. And why is there gravitas? Because you become coherent inside and outside. People feel you even before you speak anything. And there is a beautiful welcoming in their presence. And that calls forth the best version of you. The ninth sign is intuition becomes your primary navigation system. I mean, I've just said this. However, I follow this and I have been following it very diligently since 2013. Intuition is my primary navigation system. To me, that's just the way I operate. However, it has caused me to make some very difficult decisions from time to time and communicate them too. Now, without any explanation or justification, standing and in my source, being true to who I am. A lot of the times I hear people say, I don't even know what this intuition is. Maybe I have it, but I don't even know how to access it. You may not know exactly how to access it, but you will know there is that you've had an intuitive hit because your body will feel a little bit, uh, you know, like stopped in its tracks, or you'll feel a restlessness rising. Whenever you feel that in your body, it is time to restore this intuition as your primary navigation system. So all you have to do is ask yourself, what is the whisper? What is this whisper? Now, you may not get it for many, many days, only because our logical mind will be saying, what you on about? But the moment you say this, you've interrupted your pattern of reactive way in which you navigate yourself. Another way of restoring is trust that first clean knowing. We are so used to overriding it or overlooking it that it takes a little bit of time to start receiving that clean knowing again. And the way to do this is how I connected to my intuition all those years ago. I would just ask this question randomly. What's the whisper? And after a while, I started getting like one word, two words. And now I'm just completely plugged in. That's just the way I navigate myself. And each of us, when you are in a state of knowing, your bodies feel that unequivocal state of yumminess. However tough the decision or the communication may be, that your intuition is wishing to bring to your attention, that clean knowing feels unequivocally yummy. The impact of this is life stops needing to shout. Guidance becomes immediate. And you operate in a state of stillness by default. Sarah, do you get what I'm saying?
I totally get what you're saying. I'm very present to my energy leaks, and I'm grateful to you sharing how to restore. That's the
Mm,
hardest. I find that's the hardest. I know when my energy is leaking, and it's the restoring that I
mm.
find challenging, or I don't do it. I get lazy. There's infinite, you know, things that I don't do. So I'm listening. I'm finding myself listening attentively, like over attentively, to you tonight.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you.
The 10th sign is your choices align with your highest identity and not fears. So, fear is false expectations appearing real. So when your choices are aligned to false expectations appearing real, because you think that if I actually, I'm able to get those expectations met or avoid those expectations, whatever they may be, and your choices are aligned to that, you're really just jumping from one landmine to another. You're not navigating around it. Your choices align with your highest identity will feel yummy in your body. Your choices aligned with your fears will feel yucky in your body. How do you restore this sign if you're not feeling that your choices are aligned with your highest authority? You know that they are not aligned is when you feel you have to, you need to, you must. Or if you're feeling quite opinionated about a particular way in which things should be or should not be, you know your choices are not aligned with your highest identity. How do you restore it? You restore it with a sovereign question, identity decisioning, I call it. What would the sovereign me choose? In this situation, what would the sovereign me choose? And there was a particular situation that some of you have heard me talk about, where there was a breakdown in the relationship with my ex business partner, and we were subject of espionage, if you like, of a software platform that was created, and it was like so distressful for everyone that the easiest thing would have been to say, okay, cut our losses, write it off, move on. I applied this. What would the sovereign me choose? Because that walking away, writing off, and moving on did felt yucky in my body. In response to what would the sovereign me choose? A decision of fairness, absolutely honoring the work that this business partner had done over the years. And rather than being nasty to him, you know, come to an agreement where he gets to keep the software platform, and each of us also has a copy of the same software platform, with an agreement between us that we have absolute freedom to do whatever we wish to do with it. That is what the sovereign in me would choose. The guy was ghosting, so they'd be like, okay, I can choose it, but how do I communicate this? Here's the thing: when you honor your sovereign, your vibrational frequency rises, that doors open up. Everybody who were my special advisors who have dealt with situations where there is a breakdown and where they've dealt with situations which involve technology and the business world and all the complexities that go with it and involve IPR and things like that, said to me, you're not going to get anything out of it. It will just be a whole lot of distress. It was not a breeze in the park. I get that. And I just kept taking the next step next. Every step, everything that I'm sharing with you, the sign recognition was my pulse. My pulse was these signs of me in my sovereignty. It took a few months and everything was accomplished. Everything, 100%. Each of us has the software platform. We have the content that is IPR owned by me. My content is not with my business partner, it's only with me. And most of the platform was populated with my content and that of the masters I had brought in. So there's complete sense of fairness. It's quite complex in this country when you create a business to close it. It is all closed perfectly because there was India involved. There's major compliances with the Reserve Bank and many others. Everything is complete. The thing that allows movement to take place with ease, with joy, with grace, is you standing in your sovereignty and taking that next step next, experiencing that inner steady state. Did I lose it from time to time? I did actually. And I just called it out without making me wrong about it. I did call out how certain uh, times I felt in my body without expecting anybody to say anything. I didn't need to call out in front of anybody. I just did it for myself. Did not lose that steady state. I'm going to go to sign 11 and see if we can complete all 12 today. Because there's much more to just the signs of sovereignty that we will continue next week. The 11th sign is you take accountability without taking on blame. Whatever occurs in your life, whatever, the good, the bad, the ugly, the beautiful, you take accountability without taking on blame. If there is blame featured anywhere, it's time to restore this sign. And how do you restore it? Separate ownership from shame. I own my choice, I release blame. It's when we attach shame is where we keep looking for something or someone to blame. Just declare, I own my choice, I release blame. You stay in your lane. This is not mine to carry. This is not mine to carry. A lot of the time we blame ourselves. Chill. Even that is to be released. The impact, accountability becomes empowering. And your ability to respond becomes light and easy and breezy, not heavy. When you come from responsibility, it diminishes your ability to respond because it's heavy. Accountability, where you own that which is yours to do and you're free to declare it, it's empowering, not heavy. The 12th sign is you move with quiet authority. If you're feeling lack anywhere in your body, if you're feeling you have to, you need to, or should not, scenario is active, there will be heaviness. So it's time to restore this sign so you can move with quiet authority. Stop proving is the way to restore it. Start embodying. Start embodying your vision. Start embodying who you are being and who and how you are going to show up. If your vision is realizing, stop proving. Speak fewer words. Actually, when you plug into your truth, the quantum of words dramatically reduces. The impact, your life is led by frequency and not by force. Sovereignty is not something you do once, it is something you return to daily. And now, next week, I'm going to talk about what can destroy sovereignty and then bring the whole thing together. Back to you, Sarah, to conclude.
I was just looking, Kathleen wrote a message. Trust, what a wonderful gift and how worth the practice. Choices aligned will feel good. Thank you, dear Manu, from Kathleen. Oops. Thank you, Manu. The steps always, they seem so simple and clear when you share with us the steps and how to restore and how to know when we're out of alignment or when we're not standing within our or being within our sovereignty. For me, I found it in just every transmission you have. I find that I say less and I'm attentive because I'm listening deeply to connect the dots in my life and my experiences.
Thank you, Sarah, for hosting. With these ones on stillness and sovereignty, it's like, what else is there to say, you know? It's just a state of being that we enter, and the portal of sovereignty is open. With that, I declare our session complete. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mynoo.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
You're
Amazing.
welcome.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Have a wonderful rest of the day, rest of the evening, and a beautiful night's sleep. Bye.
Mm.
Thank you,
Wonderful.
everyone.
Bye.